Hello everyone, it's Poppy Science. In 1898, something horrifying happened in the Tsavo region of Kenya. Two lions, in less than a year, killed 51 people, causing immense panic. They not only bit their victims to death, but also dragged them away to devour them. This was unusual because lions generally don't see humans as prey. The sudden increase in human casualties suggested something extraordinary must have been happening. This became known as the Tsavo man-eaters incident. The story doesn't end there. 67 years later, in 1965, the Tsavo region witnessed another wave of man-eating lions. The most notorious among them, a lion nicknamed Mfuvu, killed a hunter. That year, other lion attacks were reported in southern Kenya. Why did these lions turn to humans? Many theories abound. A 2019 study revealed a shocking potential culprit: the porcupine. It sounds far-fetched, doesn't it? How could a porcupine be blamed for lion cannibalism? Let's first understand what a porcupine is. The term porcupine encompasses 30 different species belonging to the Hystricidae family under the order Rodentia. Yes, porcupines are not related to pigs. They are also not closely related to hedgehogs or echidnas, despite the shared spiky feature. They are actually rodents, sharing ancestry with rats, squirrels, and beavers. These 30 species are broadly classified into two groups: Old World porcupines and New World porcupines. This essentially translates to porcupines from Africa, Asia, and Europe, and porcupines from the Americas. Most people picture the African porcupines, especially the African crested porcupine and the South African porcupine, as they are frequently featured in African wildlife documentaries. These typical African porcupines are very distinct. Their bodies are covered in long, thick, sharp quills, resembling miniature spears, often colored in a striking black and white pattern. They are easily recognizable. These curious quills are actually modified hairs. They are strengthened with keratin, the same material found in human fingernails. Upon closer examination, you will notice variations among these quills. Some are particularly long, reaching up to 50 centimeters, but are less thick. These are primarily used for intimidation. When threatened, the porcupine will erect its quills like a peacock displays its feathers, making itself appear larger and more imposing. The truly lethal quills, however, are shorter and thicker, concentrated on their hindquarters and tail. They are the porcupine's most formidable weapon. It's safe to say that most predators in Africa have experienced the painful consequences of a porcupine encounter. You'll hear more about their experiences later. Now let's talk about the porcupines of the Americas. They look quite different. The North American porcupine is a prime example. At first glance, it seems less spiky and more furry. The long hairs, similar to acupuncture needles, appear harmless. Don't be fooled. The North American porcupine is equipped with a dense array of quills, around 30,000 in number, about 10 centimeters long. These are hidden beneath the long hairs. When the porcupine raises its hairs in anger, the quills become visible. These quills are also black and white, resembling their African counterparts, albeit shorter. While both African and American porcupines share the name, their relationship is not very close. Genetic and fossil evidence suggests their ancestors diverged around 30 million years ago. A branch migrated from Africa to South America, leading to the evolution of modern-day caviomorpha. This means the New World porcupine is actually more closely related to capybaras and other caviomorpha species than its African counterpart. Furthermore, their lifestyle differs significantly. African porcupines are terrestrial, skilled at digging burrows. New World porcupines prefer arboreal habitats, residing in tree hollows. Their unique evolutionary paths have resulted in striking similarities, especially in their quill-wielding defense mechanisms. Let's look at some pictures. What is this creature with a head resembling a sea urchin? It's just a dog, or to be precise, a dog who recently encountered a porcupine. This next photo might seem familiar. The mighty honey badger, featured in a previous episode, has been subjected to the same prickly fate. And then there are lions with quills adorning their neck, leopards with quills embedded in their chest, and snakes cosplaying as hedgehogs. It's clear they all had a recent run-in with a porcupine. The quills are souvenirs from the encounter. This begs the question, how does a porcupine inflict such punishment? Aristotle, one of the earliest writers to describe the porcupine, claimed that their quills could be shot like javelins, attacking their enemies remotely. That statement is highly exaggerated. The porcupine's quills are not projectiles. The only creature capable of such a feat might be Jiraiya in his sage mode. The porcupine's quills lack the necessary power. In most cases, the porcupine adopts a passive defensive strategy. Don't mess with me and I won't mess with you. But if you dare, you'll be covered in quills. That's the principle. Furthermore, porcupines have another principle when it comes to conflict. Avoid physical confrontation whenever possible. Facing danger, they first erect their quills, displaying their might and weaponry. They prefer not to use ambush tactics. When it comes to avoiding confrontation, African and North American porcupines employ slightly different techniques. African porcupines possess hollow quills on their tail. When vibrated or rubbed together, they produce a rustling sound, serving as a warning to potential aggressors. North American porcupines lack this ability. Instead, they utilize their teeth, making a distinct clattering noise by banging their upper and lower incisors together. It's quite a menacing sound. If the warnings are ignored, the porcupine will not hesitate. They will turn their backs, presenting their spiky defense to the enemy. Sometimes they may charge at the aggressor or, when approached, swiftly lash out with their tail, aiming for the face, preferring not to hit the belly. A single blow is enough to leave several quills embedded in the target. This might raise curiosity in some viewers. How come porcupine quills seem to detach so easily? Don't they lose all their quills? Fear not. Their design is ingenious. Each quill has a safety latch secured in place. Only with a forceful inward pressure can the latch be broken and the quill released. This mechanism only works when the porcupine tenses its muscles, adopting its defensive stance. They won't accidentally lose quills during minor bumps and scrapes. This is particularly important for North American porcupines, who live in trees and often fall. Without this design, they would suffer heavy losses. Though lost quills regrow, it's still unwise to be wasteful. This design takes care of both needs. The porcupine's quills possess another clever feature: barbs. This makes them easy to pierce, but difficult to remove. The quills latch onto the victim's skin securely. These quills, when embedded deep enough into muscle tissue, will penetrate further with each movement of the muscle. This is why most creatures, once hit with quills, lose the desire to continue the fight. They are occupied with removing the quills while the porcupine makes its escape. Some canines, however, are particularly stubborn and fearless, determined to harass porcupines. They end up with a face full of quills, forced to undergo anesthesia at a vet for proper removal. There was even a dog in Canada whose heart and lungs were pierced by quills. The surgery cost around $10,000, a hefty sum. For wild animals, however, this situation can be dire. The incident of man-eating lions is believed to be linked to porcupine encounters. In 2019, Julian Kobiske, a researcher at Roosevelt University in Chicago, conducted a study investigating historical records of lions and porcupines. Despite the vast difference in size, a king of the savannah versus a rodent, the lions never came out on top in 50 recorded instances. 40 instances involved severe injuries, and 10 resulted in outright death for the lions. This outcome is quite explosive. Some viewers might wonder if a porcupine quill is truly so dangerous to a lion. Yes, it can be. As mentioned before, the barbs on the quills cause them to penetrate deeper if not removed. Over time, the wound may become infected, posing a serious threat. However, lions lack hands. They can't simply pluck out the quills. Those on their body can be removed with their mouth. But those on their face, especially their nose, are almost impossible to deal with. Mfuvu, the notorious man-eating lion of 1965, had a porcupine quill lodged in its nostril, a staggering 23 centimeters long, with 12 centimeters embedded inside. Just thinking about it makes one flinch. This perpetual pain might have contributed to its extreme aggression. Returning to the Tsavo man-eaters of 1898, their skulls were preserved. Researchers conducted CT scans on them. Unsurprisingly, both showed evidence of porcupine quills embedded in their gums. Though only fragments remained, it's easy to imagine their excruciating pain following the encounters. The the presence of quills in their mouths likely hindered their hunting ability. Researchers theorize that the lions, wounded by porcupines, might have experienced a decline in their hunting success, leading them to prey on easier targets, humans. Further examination revealed another lion skull, known for attacking humans, also contained a porcupine quill in its mouth. This suggests the connection might not be a mere coincidence. Of course, researchers also analyzed the unusual nature of lions attacking porcupines. We know that lions primarily prey on wildebeest, antelope, and zebra, larger herbivores. Porcupines, with their meager flesh and spiky exterior, are typically disregarded by adult lions. It's often the young, more reckless lions who might provoke porcupines. Therefore, the lions that sustained injuries from porcupines must have been facing a shortage of prey. The 1898 Tsavo man-eaters incident occurred near a railway construction site. The British hired over 3,000 workers. To cut costs, they overhunted the zebras, wildebeest, and antelopes in the surrounding area, leaving the lions starved. Researchers also investigated the 1965 Mfuvu incident. That year, Kenya experienced a severe drought, leading to a scarcity of prey. The hungry lions turned to porcupines. After sustaining injuries, they found it difficult to hunt their usual prey, making human attacks more likely. This is the connection between lion cannibalism and porcupines. It sounds outlandish, but the evidence of porcupine quills in the lions' bodies offers some credibility. Despite this, the porcupine's resilience is undeniable. Most porcupine species are considered harmless. As a rodent, they are expected to thrive and even flourish. Therefore, we'll address the issue of porcupine infestations and methods to control them later. But before that, let's discuss their capacity for abundance. To ensure a thriving population, two essential abilities are crucial: foraging and reproduction. Foraging success depends on a diverse diet. Porcupines excel in this area. They are primarily herbivores, emerging at night to feast on leaves, bark, and the roots and stems of plants. When available, they also enjoy fruits and berries. Occasionally, they might snack on insects, carrion, or gnaw on bones, providing calcium and assisting with dental hygiene. Porcupines spend a large part of their day foraging, ensuring a full stomach. Now let's discuss porcupine mating. Some viewers may be curious about the mechanics, considering the spiky exterior. Rest assured, they have a solution. The female porcupine's tail is broad and flat, spiky on top but bare underneath. She curls her tail upwards, flipping it onto her back, effectively minimizing contact. Male porcupines possess strong legs and can stand upright, further reducing the need for physical contact with the female, making the process safer for both parties. After the deed is done, the male and female continue to live together, forming a monogamous pair. They share the responsibility of raising their offspring. When baby porcupines are born, they already have quills, though soft. These quills will gradually harden upon birth, allowing them to defend against lions within days. They are born with a formidable defense mechanism, ensuring a relatively high survival rate. However, porcupines are not prolific breeders. They typically give birth once a year, with one offspring in most cases. This is quite low compared to other rodent species, even within the animal kingdom. However, porcupines have another advantage to compensate: longevity. Both African crested porcupines and North American porcupines boast an impressive life expectancy of around 30 years. This is remarkable for a rodent. The only exception is the capybara. The naked mole rat, of course, is a mystery within the animal kingdom, a topic we'll explore in a future episode. The porcupine's exceptional lifespan allows them to produce a considerable number of offspring over their lifetime. Coupled with their guaranteed survival rate and resilience, they can experience population booms in favorable conditions. In certain areas, porcupines are deemed a nuisance. They devour crops, strip bark, and damage trees, posing a significant problem. Nepal is one such region. Farmers there lament their plight, harassed by monkeys during the day and porcupines at night. The traditional methods of controlling these creatures prove ineffective against their formidable armor. They are quite unfortunate. Kenya also experiences problems with porcupines. They consume a significant amount of corn, causing major economic losses. They also dig burrows that unearth human remains. causing psychological distress among the local population. Many Kenyan farmers are voicing complaints. However, their neighbors, those from Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon, are perplexed. They ask, "Are you the only country in Africa that doesn't eat porcupines? No wonder they've all gone to Kenya." They claim that porcupine meat is delicious, tender, and highly prized. Dried porcupine meat is believed to be aphrodisiac, while rendered porcupine fat is considered to enhance libido. They are baffled by Kenyan reluctance. Many online users suggest that Kenya should start exporting porcupine meat, potentially more popular than their tea. The same scenario applies in Asia. The plight of Nepalese farmers resonates with those in Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. They say, "Send us those unwanted porcupines. We don't have enough to eat. We've started commercial farming of porcupines." The poaching of wild porcupines is rampant, causing a significant decline in their wild populations. They are perplexed by the porcupine infestation in Nepal. Despite this, scientists emphasize the ecological benefits of porcupines. In the African acacia savanna, porcupines love to nibble on young acacia seedlings, preventing them from growing into large trees. An abundance of trees would reduce the grassland area, posing challenges for herbivores. In North America, while porcupines may kill some trees, these dead trees provide excellent nesting sites for many tree-dwelling animals. Without porcupines, there would be a shortage of homes for these creatures. Nature is interconnected, with unexpected ties. If you hadn't watched this episode, you wouldn't imagine that lion cannibalism could be attributed to porcupines.